So my name is Lily Kaysen, and I am the new program manager for the Environmental Education and Research Center, or we're calling it the EERC for short, that's at St. Edward's State Park. And I wanted to give you a little bit of framing of where it is. So St. Edward's State Park is in Kenmore. So it's maybe about 15-20 minute drive from campus. And it's a really amazing space. The park has lakefront on Lake Washington. There are nice forests, trails, and that's going to be the location for the EERC, which is great. So just to show you kind of what the space is going to look like, this is kind of zooming in on that picture. There are a few buildings that are on the site already, and the EERC is actually is remodeling one of the spaces. So most recently, the Washington State Parks entered into a deal with Daniels Real Estate to renovate the former seminary that's on site. And so that has become a hotel now. And the space that we are going to be in is in the annex to the old gym of that seminary. So we've got about 2,200 square feet. And there are Washington State funds that are currently getting that space renovated for us. And so this is sort of like a general overview of what it might look like. So we'll have a classroom space inside that can fit about 30-40 students. If we're in a classroom setting, can also set it up like for lectures or things like that. And we'll have an office space in there that we'll share with Washington State Parks, as well as an outdoor learning space. So of course, with COVID, we've had some delays in construction with COVID itself and with supply chain issues. So this is kind of similar to what the space looks like now. We're expecting it'll be finished around summer, sometime in the summer. But you can see that this is the space of the classroom, and then to the left there where that opening is going to be a garage door that opens up into an outdoor classroom space that then leads to the whole park. So the space itself we're expecting to be really nice and beautiful. But the real reason that we have this facility being built in the park is because of the space itself, that environment around the building. We've got that lakefront, there's forests, trails, fields, wetlands, streams. It's just a really rich environment for being able to get out and do different kinds of educational programs. There is also a really good opportunity for engaging with community. That is, St. Edward's State Park is one of the most visited Washington State Parks, I believe, over 500,000 visitors a year. So we've got a lot of different kinds of programming planned for once we get to be in the space. So having a speaker series with faculty, doing some programming that is based on research developed by the faculty at UW-Bothell. So Carrie Zoe has developed the Learning in Places program that is designed to work with families and primarily K-3 students. Doing some interpretive displays. We've already had some UWB students do some of those displays for us, and doing different kinds of research and community engagement programs. So, so far we've had a few classes that used the state park. They haven't been able to be in the building yet, but operated in the state park using that as it's a living learning laboratory, and also some research is taking place on site right now. So one of the research projects that's happening is looking at urban wildlife and how wildlife interacts with people. So we've got the state park, and Dave Stokes, one of the professors at UWB, has a research project where he's got cameras set up all throughout the park to capture different kinds of wildlife that are living there, and also has cameras set up in the neighborhoods kind of in concentric circles around the park. So looking at where these animals are traveling. And he's got some really cool photos of different kinds of animals we've got in there. I think flying squirrels he's spotted, and you can see a coyote on there, all kinds of cool stuff. And he's also had a class this past fall that was in the state park looking at some of these similar kinds of ideas. So we're also working with different organizations around the park to engage in different kinds of programming. So right now we're developing some programming with Finn Hill Neighborhood Association that's going to be working on doing some interpretive trails throughout the park, and in geocaching. adventure, some backpacks that families can borrow to use when they're in the park, and other kinds of engagement programs there. So these are kind of some of the things we've got like that we're thinking about, but we're still very much in a stage where things are coming together and we're wanting to get ideas from different people, including students. So some of the ideas of how I can imagine students engaging with us right now are we will be hiring for a position working with the EERC, I think within the next few weeks to a month. So if you're interested, you can look out for that. We also will be having classes at the EERC, including a 2-hour credit class in the spring quarter that's going to be doing some projects, doing project-based work with the EERC. So if you're interested in either of those, you can look those up. We also have a website, which is uwbeerc.org. So you can go on there and join the newsletter so you can get updates if you're interested, finding out about classes and other programming opportunities to engage with us. Yeah, so that's a brief overview. If anyone has any questions, I'm happy to take a few questions.
So you mentioned there's going to be a position open and then a class in spring quarter. How would students find where's that class going to be located? What department? How would they find it?
Yeah, good question. So the class is going to be, it's on the time schedule, which I think is out right now for spring. So you can look that up. It's a 2-hour credit class, and it's going to be through like through CBLR, community-based learning and research. And so that one, we're going to do a hybrid class for that. So it'll be half online and then half we're hoping to be able to meet in the park if conditions allow for that. So yeah, if anyone has any questions about that, you can send me an email as well, and I can help get you the link for that.
Yeah, I'm not sure do you know what the prefix is for it?
I can pull that up. I just had an email earlier. I'm new to UWB, so some of these things I'm learning. So it's the title of the class, if you look in the time thing, it's under BCUSP 199.
BCUSP, okay, yeah, BCUSP.
Field-based learning.
Great, perfect.
Yeah.
And it is a CBLR course, so that'll be great for people to connect with that as well. Mm-hmm. Awesome. I guess you kind of talked a little bit about this, but how students can get engaged. So the class, potentially a position, and then are there like opportunities for like internships or things maybe later on down the road, or you're just still figuring out kind of if it'll be more like class-based or more like field work based, I guess?
Yeah, so I think there's going to be a lot of different ways for students to engage, including working with research. So there's going to be some faculty research projects, including that wildlife one that's still ongoing in the park. And so if students are interested in working with research, they'll have some opportunities for that, and other classes that will be to come as well. So some of those things we're still waiting on finding out exactly what date we'll be able to physically be in the space, to know when classes will be able to be listed as being in the park. But yeah, and then I'm also really interested in engaging with student clubs to get some insight into what kinds of things students are interested in and how they imagine that they can use this space, because we still have a lot of room for developing those ideas.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. That's perfect. It's a great intro and segue, and I hope that students take advantage of such a great Pacific Northwest opportunity to be out in nature and in the park and to have some great experiences and learning opportunities there. So thank you so much, Lily.
Yeah, thanks, Deborah.
Yeah. Okay. Take care.